Hey, good afternoon, stamping friends. This is Robin Dawes with Stamp with Dr. Robin. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in San Diego, California, and I'm coming to you today to show you how to make a pinwheel card. And I don't know if you guys have been seeing this. I've been on Pinterest and plenty of other demos have been making them, but I was a bit intimidated by these cards, and I'm here to show you today that you don't need to be intimidated by them. They are not that hard. And I know maybe you don't believe me, but really they're not. So we're going to make a pinwheel card today, and this is the card that we made. My upline, Peggy, knowing I had a little mini stamping retreat this weekend, and this was one of the cards that we made for the weekend, and so I thought I'd bring it to you today and show you how it's done, and also to help anybody who's getting our cards in the mail learn how to do it too. I've done all the hard work for you, which is the cutting and the layout and things like that, and I'll be giving you lots of tips. So let's start with what's just, hey Vicki, thanks for watching. Little bit of Stampin' Up! News. I don't think there's anything new right now from last week, just continuing on Celebration and continuing with our great joining special where you get all the usual $125 worth of product for $99 and free shipping, but this time you also get a choice of a bundle from the new catalog. There's 12 of them you can get, and some of them are pretty good, pretty expensive. So go take a look at that. All right, so I'm not seeing myself on my other phone yet, which is a little weird because I want to make sure that everything's right, but I'm going to put you down and hopefully things will still be right. So just hold on a second. And we will get you in position. So hopefully you can see what's going on. Anyway, this is our little pinwheel card. I wanted to show it to you from the top so you can see it's a little pinwheel and it's around a little square. Now I've seen other people do these with a hexagon, but that would be, you know, even more little pieces. So didn't want to be trying that quite yet. But if I can, I will show you all the little pages here. So this is one, and it folds flat. See how it folds flat? It fits in a 5x7 envelope. Let me get one to show you. Unfortunately, Stampin' Up! Does not make 5x7 envelopes, so now I have like 200 of them or something from our favorite Amazon. But it does fold flat and fit in here real nicely. So it is mailable. And because we're trying to keep it folded flat and mailable, that is why you are not really able to put a whole lot of dimensionals on here. In fact, I didn't use any. But you'd see we've got a little wishing you Christmas cheer and magical moments that last all year. And this is using the whole Whimsy Wonder Suite, the Whimsical tree stamp set, the dies, as well as a whole bunch of the different paper. And I'll give you some tips and tricks on how to design this also. Let me just show you the, oops. Stamp set that we're using, the whimsical trees, and the dies that go with it. One thing I want to show you on the dies is that, see these little dies over here? They're adorable little ornaments and stars, so you can actually be decorating your tree also, so that's really cute. This little one over here goes on the tree, this tree specifically, and it's like a little garland. I can show you. Oh wait, I do have. This is one of the other cards that we made on our retreat. So that's the little garland that I was showing you. Okay, so let's get started. You are going to need a lot of paper for this. This right here, I'm leaving here this whole time, so if you want to copy it. For the tower card, you need the cardstock base, and I'll go over that as we go. And then you need a lot of DSP. And the best thing about our DSP packets is they all go together. And so the hint I got from Patty Bennett, who is an amazing longtime demonstrator, is cut a lot of these in the you'll notice there's two sizes. There's one that's 3 1/4 by 4 3/4 and one that's 2 1/4 by 4 3/4. And I followed her lead, which is just cut a bunch of paper in these two sizes and then play with it. Obviously there's, you know, all the paper goes together, so there's lots of different ways to make this work. So let's first make our tower, okay? So this is a piece of paper that is 7 inches by 5 inches. It is scored at 1/2 inch, 1 1/2 inch, 2 1/2, 3 1/2. So you got that? 1/2, 1 1/2. So these are all 1 inch apart. And this little one on the edge is just 1/2. So 1/2, 1 1/2, 2 1/2, 3 1/2. Okay, that's the hardest thing about this whole thing. So we're going to take this and we're going to burnish all these score lines. And as you're doing it, try to make sure it's kind of straight up against here as you're folding, because we all know no matter how hard we try, this paper moves just the teeniest bit, and we want our tower to be able to stand up. All right, so we've got all 4 of those score lines burnished. All right, and that's how we're going to make our square. Now, you get tempted to just do it like this. Don't do this. That's the best hint on here, which is, now I got to find in this mess that you can't see, my tear and tape. Tear and tape really holds stuff together. It's 1/4 inch. Secret is you can actually find it in other sizes, but this is the only size that Stampin' Up sells. And then you can use your finger, or you can use this little pointy end on your take a pick tool to pull that edge up, okay? And all that's left is the little sticky stuff. Now what you're gonna do is, like I said, you're tempted to just go like this and put it in like that. Don't do that. I tried it once, then I went back and watched Patty's video again and went, oh, that's how she got it. Much better than mine was. So now you're going to fold it up, not on this first score line, but this second score line. Fold it all the way up and flat. Okay, so it's flat, like that. Then, magic, you have your perfect square. Yay, that is the hardest thing about making this pinwheel card. Then what you're going to do is you have all these little other cardstock that are, oops, I forgot to measure them here. What are they? They are 3 1/2 by 5. Okay, there's 3 of them. I think I forgot to write that on here. And you are just going to glue them on or tear and tape them on one by one until you have your pinwheel. Well, that's not working. Okay, so there's your first one. Goes right into that little area there. I think I'm going to use my tear and tape only because I don't really have time to watch glue dry. So you can do it like this with a couple. I would probably do 2 pieces of tear and tape. In fact, I'll show you both ways. We'll show it with some glue and with the tear and tape, because probably the glue's a little faster, but then you gotta wait for it to dry a little bit. But That's okay, we got time, right? We got nothing but time. Okay, and I would put the glue or the tear and tape on the little square and not on here, because as you can see, you don't really know, you know, if you're good at estimating your little inch. And I would do it standing up like this so you know it's going to stand. Now your next one's going to go right here, same spot. Show you what it is like with the glue. Put a little glue on there. Stand it up. Put your next one in. Okay, but you're going to have to kind of hold it there for a minute. You do want it to be solidly on there before you move on to your next one. Does that make sense? All right, last one. Now, if you're like me, I ended up watching the video a couple times when I first learned how to do this, because you missed something in there. Again, we're going to stand it up and put that last one on here. Now we have the base for our pinwheel, and we're just going to put that over to the side while we work on some of our little pages. It's almost like a little book, it reads. All right, so this is our first little one. Whoops, and I'm dropping stuff right and left, so that's not a good thing. All right, so I guess because of the order that I have my little pieces in here, we're going to start with this page right here. So this is our little page, and we have a little tree here. I don't know if you can see. The tree has some Wink of Stella, but I'm going to wait to do that just because the Wink of Stella takes a little bit to dry. And I just want to wait to do that till the very end. Okay, so this is going to drive me nuts, so let's get another thing of glue. I don't know about you guys, but I go through a lot of glue, so I always have my next one ready to go. All right. Now, you know, you're just probably saying to yourself, why aren't we, I think I'm going to put this one over here. I don't want to cover up everything too much. Why aren't we using dimensionals on things? Remember, this is kind of thick, so I don't want a lot of dimensionals on it because I don't want to have to pay 5 times the postage. Now, what I'm looking for, oh my goodness, is I have a whole package of little trees that I cut out, but now I've got to find them because I'm not finding them sitting here. Come on, Robin. Oh, here we go. I mean, not trees, packages. So one of these pages is just a whole bunch of packages, and I spent a little bit of time just cutting them all out because just on one of the pages I said to myself, you know what, at some point I'm gonna want packages and I might as well just get them all out now, because I mean, I honestly, I did it when I was talking to somebody on the phone, and I just said, you know what, I'm gonna do packages while we talk. I hope you don't mind. And next thing I knew, I had a whole page all cut out, and it really wasn't that hard. So that's what I would recommend doing if you get this paper. And oh my gosh, this paper is so pretty. So now we have these 2 pages done, And if you see on here, each one of these little pages has a big side and a little side. And so these just fit in here like that. So I'm going to glue them down as we go, so I don't lose little pieces like I almost just did. And then again, like I said, this DSP is half of them are cut 3 inches, 3¼ inches by 4 3/4 inches. See how they've got a nice 1/4 inch around showing your tower. And the smaller one is 2 1/4 by 4 3/4. And the nicest thing about this paper is it all matches. All right, let's go to the next page that we're gonna do. Okay, and so we'll just kind of, as you're working it, you're also, you know, moving this page by page. So here's our next page. We've got that, there's that package page I was talking about that I cut out. On the back of it is some holly. And then we've got this pink one, the back. Don't worry, I know, you're looking at this going, oh my gosh, how can you cover this up? Well, I just thought that was too busy, and guess what? We will use it, don't worry. And then we've got, from our Stitch So Sweetly dies, a mint macaron as well as a basic white. And then we've got 2 ornaments cut from the page with the ornaments. Now, why are you're asking yourself, why is that like that? Well, I'll tell you why. Because that ornament page, hold on, let me get a piece of it out. That ornament page has ornaments that are up against the edge, and I thought to myself, you know what? I'm going to overlap these 2 ornaments anyway. Why don't I just use that one as opposed to going all the way inside to try to get another one? Because guess what? Once you do that, you can't tell that it was an overlapping thing and that this one isn't all 100%. So don't tell anybody, they'll never know. So I just hand cut those out. Unfortunately, the dies don't cut out the ornaments. I think let me pull that page back up again and show you how cute these ornaments are, because look at this one with the little deer in it and flowers, and they're just adorable. And let's see what's on the back. Some really pretty misty moonlight trees and stars. But I don't know, it's so hard to not want to use this, because notice the silver in here. That's why this is a specialty paper, because each page, see how it has the silver in there too. All right, so this is one of the few things that we're actually stamping today. So this is our Mossy Meadow. Remember, just look on the back of your paper, it'll tell you what matches. And this card only has a couple places that we're stamping, but one is this sentiment. Now this was acting up yesterday, so we'll see if it's going to act up today or if we're going to be able to get it to do its thing correctly. That looks pretty darn good, I'd say. So we'll put that out of the way. And then we have just the tiniest little piece of this ribbon. This goes with the set, what do they call it? Frayed grosgrain ribbon. See how it's frayed on the edge? Some people love it, some people hate it. But I think it's kind of cool. So what am I going to do in terms of putting this down on here? Back to our trusty tear and tape. Tear and tape is amazing for getting ribbons to stay down. It's better than glue, especially on a ribbon like this that's kind of, bumpy, because it will stay in place. Let's put this all together so that we know where we want to go with it. Now, normally, if I'm putting ribbon down and then a sentiment piece on top of it. I'm also rising this up on dimensionals, but not this time because I don't want to make this thicker, but you could. All right. See how well that sticks? And I think I'm going to try something different because I used glue completely last time. So let's, I don't know, let's try a little tear and tape on here and see if that works a little bit better, because we're kind of taping over that ribbon. And I had a little trouble getting it to hold last time, so try something new, you know? Being on camera is a good time to do that, because I can always fail big, right? But we know tear and tape sticks like crazy, so if that doesn't stick, I don't know what will. Oh yeah, much better. Much better. Okay, so let's get back to our tower. Is back again, and we're just going to put these on. Now, like I said, you could obviously do this with any paper, but that's the beauty of Stampin' Up! Paper. You get a package and you know it's all going to go together. All the colors are going to be pretty. It did take me some time to figure out, you know, first I just figured out what paper I wanted, and then I was figuring out what I wanted to do. And I thought, well, I want one to have a sentiment, and then we'll get to it, but one of them has a place where you can write stuff. I don't think that's this one yet. Okay, remember that paper that I said, don't be mad at me, guys. This paper is beautiful, so here it is. Might as well just put this on right now. This is beautiful paper, I will have to say. And this one, I don't know if you can see it, this one has some of that silver in there also. Can you see it when I do that? All right, so this is our only other page that we're stamping. One of the other stamps in here is this little kind of holly berry thing combined with the fleur-de-lis. And that's our other little stamp, and what I did is I stamped it in all the corners. So let's get this right, because guess what? I don't have a backup piece of paper, so we are going to do a good job. Watch that little edges. And then I just want to push it into the corner. And I don't mind if it, see how it did go over the edge a little bit here, that's okay. Doesn't look like it's inking up evenly, but looks okay stamped. All right, beautiful. And that's actually all the stamping on this card. All right, so now we have one of these beautiful snowflakes. So these snowflakes come like this, but they're actually, let's see, there's 4 of these sheets. Let me take one out for you. I'll take out the one that I've been actually using, because I want you to notice, see all this all around here? You could use this for other stuff. Like, remember those little stars? You could cut out a bunch of these stars here and use them on your trees. So don't throw away this really pretty stuff if you get these snowflakes. And one side of the snowflake is smooth and shiny, and the other one is more like regular paper. And so you can actually color this. And we did this weekend. And I just am okay with this sticking up a little bit, so I didn't put glue everywhere here, just enough to stick it down. And let's see, look, that's the back of that one. This was hard to use the back of because I really love this one because it's got all the shiny stuff on it. But guess what? This side is pretty too. And it just matches so well with that one. So I think we are on our last one. Here's what it looks like. Remember I said I was going to give you a page that you could write on. So that's what this last page is for. So this one has, I think this might be my favorite little thing in here, is it has these two trees. They're different sizes, and they actually come out embossed. Hopefully you can see that. That's just by cutting them out, they do that. So I want to just, before I, oh God, get this all dirty, I want to show you a little tip on when you're, because these I want to glue down so that they're not getting all wonky. When you're working with someone, something that's either like an intricate thing, like let's say I wanted to glue down that entire snowflake, or something that's really skinny, this is what I like to do. Is, oh geez, okay, I know we don't sell these, but I'm sure you can get a little sponge. We had these big round sponges that I cut up into little pieces, and then either put one of these or one of these kind of little clippies on it, and all I use this for is glue. Okay, I just tossed one of them, that's why I had that little extra clippy, because it, after a while, it gets too hard to use. But you use your little silicone mat here. You give it a little blob of glue. What did I do with my little thing? Oh, duh, it's in my hand. All right, so we're going to turn these upside down, and you just get a little bit of glue on here, and you want it, I mean, you can barely see how much is on there, and you'll barely be able to see how much is on here if you just tap, tap, tap it. And it doesn't look like much on here, but guess what? You don't need a lot on here, and it really is enough. Okay, so that's how you get it not to blob out everywhere, is because it's just this little teeny amount. Whoops, I'm gonna have to glue this on here first. Because it's over the edge on here. That's actually another way to get it to not blob so much, is to let it actually dry a little bit. And remember how you couldn't even hardly see it on here? But look, this is sticking down just fine. And same with this one. And now you've got somewhere to write. Now, the cool thing about doing this on our silicone mats is once this is dry, this will all peel off, no problem. And you can use it again and again and again. All right, so let's get this on here. Hey, Lori. Hi, Megan. Megan was helping us with our Stampin' Retreat. She was helping make some other cards because I was showing everybody how to do this card, and we rotated between tables. And so I gave Megan the little pile of paper, and I'm sure she went home and went, well, how am I going to do this? So I told her she had to watch this at some point, and she will know how to do this because it's not that hard. Hi, Teresa. Hi, Heather. So there you go. We have our whole thing. 1, 2, 3, 4 pages. And then it stands up 3D. I know a couple of our ladies said, I'm never sending this card. This is going to now be a, you know, something I stick on my mantle and have forever and just display. But those of us who make cards know that people love them so much that it really is a good idea to send them. So I'm going to, here's the sizes of everything. I'm going to post this on my blog, stampwithdrrobin.blogspot.com, once I get it all written up sometime in the next hour or two. And then it'll have all of the measurements and some pictures, but I truly think watching the video is probably the most helpful in terms of seeing a little spot thing that didn't cut out well. Whoops, let's not pull too hard. That makes it a lot easier to figure it out. Oh, I forgot. We were going to put some Wink of Stella on here. That's like the final thing. Once you put Wink, though, you've got to kind of let it sit there for a little bit. I'm going to bring back my silicone mat because I don't know about you, but what I usually end up, see how you squeeze it and it starts coming out? And so sometimes like that, I don't want that big old blob on here, so I use that as my kind of saving area. And now I'm not squeezing at all, I'm just going back to pick it up from here. I know sometimes it's really hard to see the Wink of Stella, especially when you're photographing, but in person, it's just beautiful. Now, all of you know when you get your Wink of Stella, it comes with a little ring right here so that it doesn't blob itself, I guess, in the pen before you want it to start working. So you have to take the cap off and then take that little, it's a little black ring that sits right here. And you got to take that off before you use it. I'm sure Stampin' Up on at least a daily basis gets a call from somebody to say that their Wink of Stella isn't working, but yes it is. They just need to take that little black thing off. I'm sure they have a running joke about that. I would keep track if I was one of those demo support people of what the most number of people that call in a day about that is. So hopefully, can you see it shimmer? But you gotta let that sit and dry for a little bit. Otherwise, it will be all over the place. All right, so that's our cards today. Like I said, on my blog, stampwithdrrobin.blogspot.com, in about an hour or two, once I get my act together and get it all done, you will be able to see all the measurements with some pictures and such. But it's really not as hard as it looks. I'd have to say, I'm going to pull you up, okay, guys? I'd have to say the hardest thing is just, you know, when you're doing it on your own, if you don't want to just copy mine, is figuring out what you want where. I would suggest that you do leave a space. Remember to leave a space so that you can sign it or say a little happy birthday or whatever it is you're going to use it for. And enjoy making it. So have a great day. Thank you, Vicki. I think it's really pretty too. So go try it. I know how much you like to make fun folds. So give it a little try. And I'll see you next Monday. Bye.